G'day mates, how's it going? I'm Mr. GT, welcome to the channel, and today we're here with Alex again on our part 2 of the series that we're doing with the panels for your Classic. And what are we doing today, Alex?
Look, today we're just mucking around, but basically you get a lot of panels with some pitting. If you can have a good look there, I'm not sure if you can see.
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't have any holes yet, but it's pretty bad. One thing you should know about rust, if you do see a bubble on your paint job, bear in mind that, look, rust can expand up to 10 times its original thickness.
Yep.
So in most cases, it's not really as bad as what you'd imagine. Like I said, we haven't gone through it. Most people would just rub this back and nicky it. But today we're going to replace nicky with some solder.
Okay.
Like the good olden days before nicky was around, so.
So what have you got there, brother?
Okay, I'm going to start off with one of my scribers. All I'm doing here is I'm just getting as deep as I can before we put our flux or acid on, whatever you want to call it. We'll leave that bit. This is a good... Okay, all I did there was just try and get as deep as I can because... Next I've got just a flappy disc. Okay, and that just gives something for the flux and the solder to stick on, some good clean metal.
Right.
I've got some flux here. You find it at your hardware store. When I was growing up, we used to use hydrochloric acid for steel, probably 80% pure, and I guess too many people got it thrown in their faces, so we've got a really soft solution here, not as good as hydrochloric acid. It does remove rust, but it takes a lot longer, and when you grow up with the really good stuff, everything after it's just not as good. So old school soldering iron here, and they come in lots of, you won't find these anymore, but they do have electric ones. You can just plug it into some power and it'll melt your solder. This is old school. When the flame turns green, you know your iron is ready.
Yeah, okay.
As you can see,
yeah,
got a nice green flame that's ready to use. Otherwise,
yeah, it's that colour.
Okay. I haven't used this in years, so I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. As you can see, it's already been tinned. You can see some examples of the solder that's still there. I'm just going to pour it in the same stuff that you use.
Oh, right, yeah, look at that.
Nice and clean. Of course, I've cooled it down a little bit, so I'm just going to heat it up here. I should have thrown some acid on here, or flux. If I leave that on for a while, it will clean up most of the rust, it'll dissolve it, etc, etc. This is the whole purpose of it, to give the solder some nice clean metal to stick to. Give it another thing. I'll leave that there. I'll just explain the solder to you. You buy this at the hardware store as well. It's 60% solder, 40% tin. It's got a lower melting temperature than your auto electrician's solder. Right. And it's typically what sheeties use, metal workers use, etc, etc. I don't know how we're going to go here, but let's see what happens. It just doesn't like the stick, mate. Alright, might get back to it here. Well, it's got pretty good adhesion, mate, but I'm not happy with the flux. But we can keep going. So the solder won't stick to the metal because the metal has to also be at a certain temperature. You drop solder onto a cold piece of metal, it won't stick. The only reason we've got adhesion there is because I kept my heat on it.
Okay.
Got a nice green flame again. We'll see how we go. This will be a pain in the arse. Well, that was a good one. Now the iron's getting a little bit cold and it's not doing...
So it needs reheating again?
It needs reheating, but
we get the idea.
I'm not going to do the whole guard. We're getting the idea here. We'll let it cool down a little bit. And excuse me, but always when you do something like this, get a damp cloth and just wipe all the remaining solder there. The heat will normally burn the solder off, so there won't be, but there will be little remnants of acid and impurities, etc. Use a wet rag and just give it a clean. And look, I'd probably start with maybe a sander or something, but there's not really much lead to remove, so that's somewhere where I didn't put my flux. Actually, I'm getting pretty sick of doing that, so I'm going to take a shortcut. And that was just a time saver, but now we just finish it off like you would bog or nicky. Nice and flat, not perfect, but just another example very quickly.
Yeah.
Did you burn yourself, mate?
Oh, it was a bit hot, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
and you know, I can keep going, I can keep going.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing on. So we showed you that part, and then we're going to show you a little bit more. What we've done is we've put some more acid, so we're giving it a bit more time to settle, to do its work, and we're just about ready to keep going. We're not going to do the whole guard, we're just giving you an idea of how these repairs are done.
Okay, we've got our iron here. We'll start again. That's a lot of solder.
Yeah, it sure is.
But, well, I just don't like this flux, this acid. It just doesn't do a very good job cleaning the metal.
Whereas with the old stuff, what was it that you used before?
Oh, just solution of hydrochloric acid.
That's it, and that's what you can't find anymore, eh?
Look, to be honest with you, I could probably get some battery acid and it would do a better job cleaning the rust off than this stuff, but this is only a demonstration. I wouldn't normally do this to any car. It's a lot easier to do, Nicky, but it's a lot of, I've got a lead joint over here. I think I've got a lead joint over here. All old school cars have the lead joint.
Okay.
And if you don't see lead joint, then it's had work done to it.
Right.
All right. I'll just have another go reshaping it. Getting hot. It's getting hot. And the rest of it is sweat your ass off, I suppose. That's pretty close. I can take more of it off, but the only purpose of me doing this is just to replace Nicky, and all we want to do is cover those pitting marks. So I could take a little bit more off that. But you run your nail across there, there's hardly any feather. Yeah,
but we're right, mate. We get the idea of what's going on. I do prefer this way myself than Nicky. This is a much cleaner, and you know, you're not got that Nicky on there knowing.
Oh look, I can spend an hour And I could probably cover this hole here and etc. but this is not what you do here. This is going to be cut out. This actually goes all the way across up to here.
Yeah. So we're just talking about little bits of rust to do this.
Oh, look, I wouldn't even do this if we had holes. I'd just be doing it only for pitting.
Okay.
You know, I've got a lot of it here. It's not very, very deep. But there's a big difference between what we see here and these holes here.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's just the stage before we're going to end up with a hole.
Yes, right there. All right, well, once again, Alex, thank you very much for showing us how to do that repair. That was excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for our next series, our next part in the series, and we'll be bringing you a different panel that we're going to work on.
Look, in the fabrication trade, there's a lot to cover. There's welding, distortion techniques. I mean, we really haven't covered any shrinking and stretching yet. Metal shaping.
Yep. So everybody stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing, like I said before, we're doing a part series. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe.
And give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up. And once again, thank you very much, Alex. And we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.